Hope you are doing well. Today, horror incident about unseen entity or demon. This is the story of Emily. She is a school-going girl. One day, she and her friends were standing in the assembly. After it ended, they had to go to their class. They split up and took different routes back to class. Emily and some of her friends followed their favorite teacher who taught them Chinese. They went through a corridor where no classes were taking place, and it was a closed-off area. They had to use the stairs to get to another level. When they called out to their teacher, he didn't respond, but they kept following him. At one point, one of the girls tried to stop the teacher, but another friend stopped her because she noticed something strange about him. The teacher went somewhere else, and they decided to stop following him and go back to class. When the teacher turned around, he looked exactly like their teacher, but his eyes were different, whiter, and then he suddenly disappeared. Emily and her friends looked around, but couldn't find the teacher, so they decided to head back to their class. Emily shared this incident with her family. They told her to be careful about what she wished for, because she had a desire to see these types of things, and sometimes you might encounter things that are beyond your understanding. After that day, Emily couldn't stop thinking about the incident. She wondered if what they saw was real, or just their imagination playing tricks on them. Her friends were equally curious and scared. They whispered about it during lunch breaks and while waiting for their school bus. Each of them had their own theories. Some thought it was a ghost, while others believed it was a prank played by the teacher. But Emily felt there was something more to it. One evening, Emily was doing her homework when she remembered what her grandmother used to say about old buildings and their secrets. Her school was pretty old, and she started to think that maybe there were some hidden stories or secrets in the school that they didn't know about. The idea excited her and scared her at the same time. Emily decided to talk to her best friend, Sophia, about it. They both agreed to do a little investigation of their own. The next day, they planned to stay back after school and explore the corridor again. They convinced two more friends, Sam and Olivia, to join them. They were a little hesitant, but agreed because they too were curious about what they had seen. The next day, after school, they sneaked into the corridor. It was quiet and empty, just like the last time. They slowly walked down the corridor, trying to find any clues or anything unusual. They reached the stairs where they had last seen the teacher. As they were about to turn back, Sam noticed something. There was a small, almost invisible door at the end of the corridor. "Look at this," Sam whispered excitedly. The others gathered around and looked at the door. It was old and covered with dust, almost blending into the wall. They hesitated for a moment, but then decided to open it. The door creaked as they pushed it open, revealing a dark, narrow staircase leading down. "Should we go in?" Olivia asked nervously. Emily nodded. "We have to find out what's down there. It might explain what we saw." They slowly descended the stairs, holding their breaths. At the bottom, they found themselves in a small, dimly lit room. The room was filled with old books, strange artifacts, and what looked like ancient maps. There was a large, dusty mirror on one wall. The atmosphere was eerie, and they felt a chill run down their spines. "Wow, this is so creepy," Sophia said, looking around. As they explored the room, Emily noticed something strange about the mirror. It didn't reflect their images properly. Instead, it showed faint, shadowy figures moving behind them. "Look at the mirror," she exclaimed. They all turned to look at the mirror. The shadowy figures were getting clearer. Suddenly, one of the figures stepped out of the mirror. It was the teacher they had seen in the corridor, but he looked even more ghostly and menacing. "Who are you?" Emily asked, trying to sound brave. The ghostly figure smiled and said, "I am the guardian of this place. You should not have come here." The ghostly teacher began to explain. "This school is built on ancient land, a place where powerful rituals were once performed. The corridor you found is a remnant of those times, a passageway to another realm. I was the guardian of this place, tasked with protecting it from intruders." Emily and her friends listened in awe and fear. The guardian continued, "Years ago, a powerful sorcerer tried to misuse the powers of this place. He was stopped, but his spirit still lingers, seeking a way to return. You must leave now and never return to this corridor, for it is dangerous." "But why did you look like our teacher?" Sam asked. The guardian replied, "I take on the appearance of familiar faces to warn those who venture here. I meant no harm, only to protect." The children nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. They promised to leave and never return. As they turned to leave, the guardian's form began to fade. "Remember," he said, "be careful with your curiosity. Some things are better left unknown." Emily and her friends returned to their normal school routines, but the memory of the ghostly encounter stayed with them. They kept their promise and never ventured back to the corridor. They focused on their studies and tried to forget the strange experience. Emily's parents noticed a change in her. She seemed more thoughtful and cautious. When they asked her about it, she simply said, "I learned that some things are better left alone." Her parents smiled, thinking she was growing up and becoming wiser. They didn't press her for details, sensing that she had learned an important lesson. As time passed, Emily and her friends grew closer, bonded by their shared secret. They often reflected on their adventure and the guardian's warning. It made them appreciate the mysteries of life without the need to uncover every secret. Emily found herself more focused on her studies, particularly in subjects that allowed her to explore the world in a safe and controlled way. She developed a keen interest in history and archaeology, fascinated by how the past influenced the present. She realized that there were many ways to satisfy her curiosity without putting herself in danger. One day, while researching ancient civilizations in the school library, Emily came across a book about local legends. To her surprise, she found a chapter about the very corridor she had explored. It was said to be a place of great power, protected by a guardian spirit. The book described how many had tried to uncover its secrets but were always warned away by the guardian. Reading this, Emily felt a sense of closure. Their experience was part of a long history, and they had played their part by respecting the guardian's warning. Years went by, and Emily and her friends graduated from school. They went on to pursue their dreams, each carrying the lessons they had learned from their adventure. Emily became an archaeologist, dedicated to uncovering the past while respecting its mysteries. She traveled the world, exploring ancient sites and learning about different cultures. Despite her many discoveries, she never forgot the guardian's words. She approached each new find with caution and respect, understanding that some secrets were meant to stay hidden. Emily's friends also found their paths. Aisha became a historian, sharing the stories of the past with others. Sam pursued a career in science, driven by his curiosity, but always mindful of the potential consequences. Olivia became a teacher, inspiring the next generation to explore the world with care and respect. Their bond remained strong, and they often reunited to reminisce about their school days and the adventure that had changed their lives. They knew that their experience had shaped them in ways they couldn't have imagined, teaching them the value of curiosity tempered with wisdom. One day, many years later, Emily returned to her old school. She was invited to give a talk about her career and her adventures as an archaeologist. Walking through the familiar halls brought back memories, and she couldn't help but smile as she passed the corridor where it had all begun. During her talk, she shared her experiences and the importance of respecting the past. She spoke about the balance between curiosity and caution and how her adventure in school had taught her valuable lessons. After the talk, a group of students approached her, eager to learn more. They reminded her of herself and her friends at that age, full of curiosity and excitement. She encouraged them to explore and learn, but also to remember the importance of respecting the unknown. As she left the school, Emily felt a sense of fulfillment. She had come full circle, sharing the wisdom she had gained with a new generation. The adventure that had started in a quiet corridor had led her to a life of discovery and learning, and she was grateful for every moment of it. It's my advice, if you ever visit, remember to be careful around the river and the forest, for the spirits there are hungry. For fear, always inquire about the house before move in. Keep yourself and others safe from any type of scary activity. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.